Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Multiple organizations and businesses attended an annual business conference this morning featuring panelists and speakers. Our Leo Cruzat has more.
Takeaways, the highlights that come up, or key strategies you would take back?
Lloydminster Chamber of Commerce had its 22nd annual business conference in Lakeland College this morning. The event consists of panels and speakers that focuses on managing businesses and organization. Sarah Hurtubise, director of Lakeland HR Solutions and one of the speakers, told us one of the important things new and aspiring business owners should focus on.
I think one of the most important things is connection with our team. Again, we're managing teams of people. We can't forget the human aspect of that. So actually having that soft skills, like some people say, but creating connection, communication, conversation is important. Showing your teams that you care will go a long way.
And with the evolving technology and the rise of artificial intelligence, Hurtubise said that the business owner should find the balance between computers and humans.
Yeah, I think specifically finding the balance, also getting ahead of it, understanding the trends, understanding the changes that are coming, so you're not kind of put your head in the sand, so you can be prepared, because there will be a balance. It's continuing to evolve at a very high rate, but at the same time is you cannot replace human connection, and that's something a computer won't be able to do.
And for the people who wants to build and develop their own business in the future, Hurtubise has one piece of advice for them.
From a human resource perspective, that is my business, is make sure you have your due diligence in place, get the proper contracts, the proper policies, and be prepared for growth versus kind of waiting too long and having to be reactive.
Nearly 100 participants attended to the event. The conference was organized by multiple organizations such as Lakeland College, Lloydminster Construction Association, and the Alberta government. Leo Cruzat, Primetime Local News.
Lloydminster Comprehensive High School is gearing up for their new building expansion. In this week's Beyond the Classroom, we see how the high school is focusing on the programs they will be able to offer when the expansion is completed.
Lloyd Comp has been working towards their new Passion Pathways programs. The high school will be adding grade 9 students to the campus for the next school year, and the school is keen on offering a wide range of programs for the new prospective students.
We have a land-based learning pathway for our grade 9 students. We have an athlete development pathway for our grade 10-11 students. And we're offering a AP Art and Design pathway starting for our grade 9 and 10 students who are enrolled at LCHS for the upcoming year.
Students at LCHS had the opportunity to experience the land-based pathway last year. And this year, students enrolled in art at the school now have the ability to further enhance their skills.
So we're going to have grade 9 art as an option for all students, but there'll be a grade 9 advanced art, and that would be a pretty appropriate choice for any students who have maybe been extra passionate about art through middle school and elementary. Maybe they've taken art academies, and they're looking for something to kind of bridge the gap. So advanced art 9 would be a good choice for them.
And that's all for this week's edition of Beyond the Classroom.
At Lakeland College, our students go beyond the classroom for immersive, hands-on learning experiences. It's about experiencing the real world.
The biggest battles are approaching for both Lakeland futsal teams. They have qualified for the ACAC championships in Lac La Biche, but the job is far from done. Our Ben Loan has more.
The ACAC futsal season is a quick one. Teams play 10 conference games within 2 weekends to decide postseason matchups at the ACAC championships. The Lakeland women's team finished third in the North standings with a 6-4 record. The team is led by Grace Smithson and Megan Hockley, and they will take on the Lethbridge Kodiaks March 8th at 7:30. The men's team had a similar season. The team hit the ground running, finishing 7-3 in conference play and second place in the North. The Wrestlers are led offensively by Nathan Tran and Hani Tekest, and they will take on the 4-4-2 Ambrose Lions March 8th at 8:45.
The Lloydminster Classic Oilfield Junior B Bandits have made it to round 2 of the Northeast AJBHL playoffs and are tied at 1 game apiece. Our Thomas Wildman has more on exciting Game 3.
The Lloydminster Bandits are in a tough series against the Wainwright Bisons. Game 1 went to the Bandits 4-3, and the Bisons won Game 2 3-2 in OT. The pivotal Game 3 would take place in the border city, and the Bandits would get it started early. Jaden Plamondon would open the scoring for the Bandits on the power play, with the assists coming from Joel Webb and Cade Dennett. The Bisons didn't let that deter them, as they would grab 2 goals on the power play late in the first from Mason Ganser and Rylan Wheeler, which would lead to the Bisons going up 2-1. The defense and goaltending held up in the second and would continue to hold strong despite some huge scoring chances. The Bandits' captain wasn't going to let the game end like this. Joel Webb would tie it up for the Bandits with assists coming from Ben Rollick and Caleb McDuff. It seemed that this game would need some extra time, but the wind was in the Bandits' sails. Cade Dennett, with 45 seconds left in the game, would snipe home the rebound, and the Bandits held on to the lead to a 3-2 victory, and taking the lead in the 7-game series 2-1.
It was big for me. I missed a breakaway late in the second period there, and then just kind of grabbed the puck, threw it on net, and then went in. So it was a big goal for us and take the lead in the series.
The Bisons had pulled off similar comeback wins on the Bandits earlier in the year, so they were happy to flip the script in the win.
You know, that's a team that's happened the other way around against us a couple times this year, them coming back and stealing a game from us. It's really nice to be able to do that to them. Just kept the boys rolling and snowballed the whole game, and by the end we had them on their heels, and that led to us winning that game.
Game 3 saw plenty of aggression from both squads, including a scrum after the final buzzer rang, but for Jason Ross, that rivalry between teams is important in long playoff series.
That's playoff hockey, right? If you can't develop a hatred for a team in a 7-game series, then you shouldn't be playing the game. It's going to be a battle right through. Nobody expected this to be a short series by any means, and we'll keep battling. And yeah, it's a matter of smiling and skating away a few times out of the scrums and hope you suck them into a penalty or two.
The Bandits will be back in action against the Bisons for Game 4 here at the Centennial Civic Center this Thursday. Thomas Wildman, Primetime, Local News.
Thomas Wildman is back in now to take a second look at the weather.
Yeah, if you're looking for something to do on Thursday night, be sure to head out to the Centennial Civic Center. That was a great game between the Bandits and the Bisons, 2 local teams here. And so, yeah, it's actually very warm in the Centennial Civic Center of all places. Most of these arenas are freezing cold, but it's actually quite nice in there. Taking a look at our current temperatures in the northwest region or northeast region a little bit here if you're on the Alberta side. We'll start with Cold Lake. It's sitting at that -13 mark. Lloydminster is still at our -18 mark here. Going further west, Athabasca sitting similar to Cold Lake at -13. Edmonton at -15. Red Deer at -14. Rocky Mountain House warmer at -11. Then you get really further out west. Whitecourt is sitting at -10. Edson at -6. And Jasper at a nice one, warm -2 for them today. It would be a great day to go out skiing for them. Taking a look at the Saskatchewan side, Meadow Lake and Prince Albert sitting at -12. North Battleford at that -15, as is Saskatoon, and Mulfort at -13. Taking a look at the current temperatures in the south, Coronation sitting at -18. And then across the rest of the south, it's actually pretty warm there. -9 for Calgary and -9 at Medicine Hat as well. Lethbridge sitting at -8 and Banff at -4. Kindersley on the Saskatchewan side is sitting at -19, and we'll flip over here. Swift Current at -16, Moose Jaw at -14, Regina and Estevan at -12, and Yorkton at -13. Here we go. Tomorrow's forecast for Lloydminster here. It's going to be pretty cold in the morning at that 6 a.m. mark, -27, 13-kilometer winds there, so it's going to be pretty frigid early in the morning. It will warm up as the day goes on there, -18 at noon, mostly cloudy, -15 as it gets closer to the evening. Then it'll cool off a little bit into midnight, -16, but heavy winds throughout the day, 19 at noon, 17 at 6 p.m., and at 19 at midnight. Taking a look at our friends out to the west at Cold Lake. They're sitting at they're going to be at a -10 for a high tomorrow. Very cold with some sunshine and patchy clouds. They're being hit really hard with some wind chill there at 13 kilometers. Likely not going to see any snow though at that 6% chance of precipitation. North Battleford, similar, a little bit colder though at -16 for their high. They're going to have 11-kilometer winds, so a little bit colder as the temperature, but that wind chill might be a little less nasty than it is in Cold Lake. 3% chance precipitation, which will likely mean not a lot. Taking a look now at our overnight travel forecast, it's going to be very similar to what it is out here in Lloydminster. -31 in Meadow Lake and Bonnyville, and then it gets a little bit warmer as you go to Provost, Isle Cross, and Paradise Hill. -29, -27, but very cold across the region there. Our friends from further out, just make sure that if you're doing any evening activities that you're well bundled up for the frigid temperatures. It's pretty similar across the rest of the Alberta as well here. Myrna -28, Pearson at a -31 as well. Wainwright going to be at -26 tonight, -18 out in Calgary. They're going to be a little bit warmer down south if you're on the travel down there tonight. Tomorrow it looks a little bit better across the area here. -10s for the high for the most part, except for Unity at -15. 0 degrees for Calgary, so that's a nice look for them out there for tomorrow. And a little bit better across the way here. Meadow Lake at a nice -9 for tomorrow. Bonnyville and Provost at -11. Isle Cross at a nice -7. Paradise Hill, though, very similar to us at -16. They'll be seeing very similar temperatures to us, especially with that strong southeast wind. We talked a little bit about the weekend, 2 degrees on Saturday. It's going to be pretty breezy though, so it might not be a perfect day out there. Sunday, it's going to be a little bit warmer at the height at 4 degrees, -8, but possibly a shower. So it could be really nasty out there on the roads on Sunday because that shower is going to be in the morning. Monday will be at 2 degrees and 1 degree on Tuesday and Wednesday next week. So we're going to get into these nice positive temperatures where it's going to be warm in the middle of the day, but it will get cooler as the day goes on. And of course, the lovely wind that Lloydminster brings will always make it a little bit tougher for us. So that is your second look at the weather forecast. We'll have a few more exciting news headlines coming up after the break.
Stephanie Dobson is back with us this week. It's another episode of Healthy Thriving Family After Divorce. Stephanie is a lawyer, mediator, and online educator with Hankett Divorce Law and Mediation, offices in Lloydminster and Edmonton. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Stacey.
Well, it's a new month, and so we are starting a new topic, and this time we're going to be talking about the Divorce Act. Now, that came into effect in March of 2021, the changes to it. And so we're going to do a bit of a series here over the next few weeks. So let's talk about how we're going to cover this series.
Well, I've broken down our interview into 3 parts. This legislation makes so many changes the way that divorce is handled in our country that, I wanted people to get an opportunity to really explore more of the act than we just have in 5 minutes here. So part 1, which is today, we'll be talking about the terminology around parenting and the focus of the legislation on relationships. Part 2, we'll be talking about the best interest of the child and how that's outlined in the new act. And then part 3, we'll be breaking that one down into part A and part B of that 5-minute series. Part A will be about relocation and part B will be about duties of parents and their legal advisors. Of course, we only have 5 minutes today, so we're only going to be talking about the Divorce Act, which is, we can't cover the whole thing, but I just want to remind parents that this only applies to married spouses. Unmarried parents don't fall under this legislation.
Okay, Stephanie, you mentioned a little bit about the terminology when we were just chatting here. So tell me a little bit about what that means and what has changed since 2021.
So the language in the act is significantly updated to be more child-centered and parent-focused and less around entitlements and rights-focused. So the words custody and access, thank goodness, are gone from the legislation now. These 2 little words were so powerful and the subject, honestly, of so much parental conflict for so many years. So they're gone, and I'll tell you, not a moment too soon. So now we've got the words decision-making responsibilities and parenting time. Lawyers, mediators, and many judges have anyways been moving away from that language of custody and access for many years, but now at least we've got that broken down into the legislation.
Okay, so let's start with decision-making responsibilities. Can you expand on that, Stephanie?
So the word custody in the old Divorce Act in part referred to major decision-making responsibilities and who was entitled to participate in these decisions about children. It's long since been seen as a word that has a connotation of ownership over something and associated even in the police context with detention. It also has the sense of being a winner of something, which by default meaning that the other person has lost something or is the loser. So the new act gives this more plain language and speaks to relationships. So it's all about allocating responsibilities for how decisions will be made about the children, who will participate, and in what types of decisions. So there's clarity in the new act to distinguish between major decisions and day-to-day decisions. So major decisions will be allocated in the parenting order either to one spouse for all decisions or joint or some kind of hybrid. So examples of that is health, education, culture, language, religion, activities, and otherwise. Day-to-day decisions are things like bedtime, nutrition, homework, discipline, screen time, and it automatically goes by default to the person who has that parenting time.
Okay, and let's expand on the parenting time, Stephanie. What does that new terminology mean?
Well, we used to use the word primary parent or even shared custody for 50-50 parenting or split custody. Again, those words custody being for kids who are split between two homes. Or access was the word that the non-primary parent gets. So it's all very entitlement versus non-entitlement focused. So the new language in the act really calls a spade a spade. It's about the parenting, the children not having custody of them or access to them. It's about having parenting time of them. So it creates a schedule between the parties, and the term for the court order is a parenting order. So the act clarifies that it's not just about the time you're with a child, but it can also be the time that you're away from them, but responsible for them for times like when they're in school or daycare. My hope is that the language is the starting point of parents and legal advisors and courts all being on the same page about the emphasis on relationships and bridge building. When we get to the best interest of the children next week, that's when we'll talk about the real impact of the legislation's focus on relationships.
All right, Stephanie, well, thank you so much for your time today, and we'll be back next week to continue this discussion.
Yeah, thanks, Stacey.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
Today I am speaking with Erin McNeil with Habitat for Humanity out of Edmonton. And Erin, we're talking about the project in Cold Lake that's coming up this year. What can you tell me about it?
Well, the municipality of Cold Lake approached us several years ago to build the houses to address an affordable housing shortage in the city, and they gave us 6 lots about 8 years ago now, I believe. We built on 2 right away, and then we're just only able to build the last 4 this year. We finally we had to fundraise the money, and that's what we were finally able to start the project this year. So there's 4 houses, individual houses, freestanding houses with a double garage and a yard and a fenced yard.
My understanding is that 4 homes will be built for families, but the families themselves won't be chosen until closer to the occupation date. So can you tell me a little bit about why that is?
Yeah, we have the Habitat for Humanity Edmonton formula is that half of the mortgage is held with a credit union and the other half is held with by us. So we don't get the families aren't chosen in advance because we need to maintain the documentation when they get the mortgage approval through the bank. That's only valid for 120 days. The families still have to do 500 hours of volunteer work, and they do it in the community. So they do it at their food bank, in schools, in hospitals, in libraries around the communities that they're in. So we view it as a way to benefit the broader community, not just Habitat.
How do interested families get involved with this program?
Yeah, so they reach out to us. HFH.org is our website, and there's a section on the website called I'm Looking for Housing. And they go there. We look for families who make between $45,000 to $75,000 a year that are working. They have to be full-time employed. They have to be permanent residents or Canadian citizens. They have to be ready to do the 500 hours of volunteering. They have to understand that that's a component. And they have to have okay credit because we work with the bank now, the credit union. So we sometimes people apply to us and they don't get approved. We can't get them through, but we do then provide some coaching and stay in touch with those families. And hopefully the next time. And there was a family that applied for the first 2 houses in Cold Lake, and they came back again for this round. And they're ready. They've made significant changes, and they're ready. So yeah, so we don't just say no and shut the door. There's a bit of a conversation about how we can work together for next time.
Erin, those are my only questions for you. Do you have anything that you would like to add at all?
Well, that we're really happy. Nothing we do at Habitat operates in a silo. So Value Master Homes is building, but they're also donating a dollar amount per door. The City of Cold Lake donated, the Alberta government donated, as well as CMHC donated. So that's, yeah, I guess we'd like to thank all of those people who helped bring this to light together to make this happen for the families. There's still some fundraising to go, and we're still raising some funds in the community, but we're grateful for the support that we've had and really excited to get 4 families into homes in Cold Lake.
Well, thank you for talking with me today, Erin. I do appreciate it, and I look forward to speaking with you again closer to the possession dates, probably this fall.
Thank you.
Well, a ski stunt gone wrong at Lake Louise in Alberta here is catching a lot of attention online and from the resort. The skier was attempting unsanctioned stunts on a normal run when he smashed into a moving chairlift. The resort said he was there for a competition the following day, but they aren't sure if he ended up entering. The 17-year-old was helped by ski patrol but was not seriously injured. The video has garnered over 900,000 likes online.
I'm truly shocked he was not seriously injured. Maybe he wasn't seriously injured physically, but I'm sure his pride took a big hit there. Man, it looks really impressive until you slam into the ski lift there. Yeah,
that was a poorly executed stunt for sure.
Tough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not only his pride, but I wonder if it'll be a deterrent and people won't try that again.
Well, he'll make American Funniest Home Videos or any of those other shows or compilations probably for a good long time. So. He'll be a legend of the internet history books.
All right. Well, that is all that we have for you this evening. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.